doing the voice of Joker and Harley Quinn.
Oh, yes, I
which is
am.
in post-production now. How do you take the existing Jokers and like sort of make it your own, or do you just wipe that slate clean and start?
I have him as
fresh?
like a Czechoslovakian little girl. That's how I've approached it. I focused on the fact that he was born in a bath of acid. So I ate a lot of just spicy food, had a little reflux situation going, and that really took care of it. And it came out with a lot of that. You know.
That makes sense. It wouldn't have just affected his skin.
No. The bath was very thorough. It got into his vocal cords, and he also has the laugh is big. he's a clown in a way, and so he has a lot of variation in his voice. That kind of crap.
Speaking of DC streaming, you're also doing Doom Patrol.
Yes.
Can you talk about your Mr. Nobody?
Sure. Mr. Nobody. He's the villain of this season. It is a crazy show. It's brilliant. Have you seen any of it? Or
Not
just
yet,
no?
no.
Oh my God. Okay. Check it out. Like I fold a town up and stick it inside the butt of a donkey. That's one of the first things I do. I can do things like that. Yeah. There's a Perry Como song called Hot Diggity, Dog Diggity, Boom, What You Do to Me, and it drives people crazy. I have a big hot air balloon shaped like a butt, and it comes down with a jukebox playing that song, and it drives everybody crazy, and they start to kill each other. Like, it's that kind of kooky comic book insanity. There's a super villainy, he's not super, he's a villain called the Beard Hunter, and he eats people's beard hair, and then he knows their essence. Timothy Dalton plays the chief. He goes into his drain and pulls out this huge chunk of hair and eats it. That's and so then gross. He can locate him anywhere on the planet because he ate it.
Speaking of crazy worlds, you have been in every Disney movie since 2012, right? Since Wreck-It Ralph.
Animated, yes.
Animated, yes.
Yes.
You're not in The Lion King, right?
No, because that's a live action. I did do a little thing in Aladdin. I played Iago, which isn't a little thing, except the way that the new one is. It's not as
Iago's
big of a deal, because he's not really since it's live action, he's a parrot.
Yes,
so he's restricted.
Parrot seems more cartoony.
Yeah, you can't be Gilbert Gottfried going, Jafar! Hey, this is who gave me a cracker! Like, just that stuff's nuts. It's so off the hook and fun. I'm like, flying carpet. Like, that's my version of Jafar! That's it. I don't even think
that movie's a little broader than the original Aladdin's a little broader than the new Aladdin.
Exactly.
Did you know that wasn't me?
K-2SO is an enforcer droid and simultaneously a security droid, because it was kind of, at one time he was considered a security droid, and then I was complaining about it on set saying, he's a security guard. He's got to have a better name. And then an enforcer droid was what they wanted to go with, but they're like, well, we already sent it to the toys are making security droid on the toy. But then on some, he's an enforcer droid, so it's all kind of, it's malleable, you know.
So to answer the question, you were not represented in Galaxy's Edge.
I don't know. I haven't been. There's a thing called The Void, which is a VR experience that you can go do, and it's really cool. I have done that. You go and you get guns and you have friends and you put on VR goggles, but you have a backpack so you can you're mobily VR in a VR world. And K-2SO takes you around and it's like, oh, hello, you're here. That's not how he talks, but he says, here, we've got a mission. And even Cassian Andor is there too. Diego Luna also does a little thing in it. But so I'm in that one, and you can even touch me, like I'm there, and then if you reach out and touch me, I'm right there. Where K-2SO is there. It's a great thing. It's out at the park. You can do that.
Did you have to record voice for that? Did you have to go in and do it?
I did the whole VR thing of it. So I put on the suit, put on the motion capture suit, and did the whole thing.
What are you most recognized for, and is it for doing Wash?
I think so, probably. Well, that's the one I would know I'm recognized for, because people who like Firefly will tend to come up and say, hey, I like Firefly, because it's kind of a club.
Now die! Oh, no God! Oh, dear God in heaven! Oh, motherless son of a...
And you've taken some elements of that to go into like Halo, like you've used Chinese from like, stuff like that. So you've kind of little Easter eggs.
Yeah. Well, that was, I think they gave us the jobs in Halo, gave me the job in Halo, and also Nathan initially, because we were, because they liked Firefly, because they were on top of Firefly before it even became as much of a cult hit.
I recognize your voice. Oh, no, I'm a huge Spectrum fan. Oh, hey, sign my magazine.
No. The concept of Con Man, which was about a guy who who was on a sci-fi show that didn't last. It ended too soon, and then all he gets is sci-fi work, and he feels like his career has passed him by because all he is a sci-fi actor, and he resents his own success. That character doesn't really exist, and there's real people like that, or there was real people like that when I was conceiving Con Man. Now I've met actors who are in sci-fi shows, who have a good sci-fi pedigree, who can't get invitations to sci-fi shows because they're not famous enough. Like they've become it's hard to get invitations to these things because everybody wants to do them and everybody's willing to do them now. There was a time when actors, agents, and their managers were like, do not do that. It lowers your...
But now there are people that are just like purely, the soup Nazi. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you could be like,
kind of
let's all take the family out and let's go see them. Let's go see the soup Nazi. I'll get his photograph for $10. And then you've got people like, Lou Ferrigno, who's been there since the days when he's like, I used to go to I was talking to him at one recently in Canada. So he used to go to car dealership openings and stuff. And he would get $1 a signature. And he's like, Adam West used to come in costume.
Whoa.
Back in the 70s. Isn't that's a drag. So it's come a really long way, and it's still evolving. For the fans and for the actors and actresses, or Alice Cooper, it's a formalized way of meeting fans. Like, I'll meet fans now. If somebody wants to come meet me, they can come to the theater at I'll say the Geffen Playhouse, because they know where I'm going to be, and they can come see me do a show doing Mysterious Circumstances. Just so I'm clear, they can say, hey, I watched this with, those are the best ones. I watched this with my dad, and this is something we connected on when we didn't connect on much in life. We connected on Firefly.
That's nice.
It is. That's the beautiful part about it. That's what it's for. It can also screw with you. It's not. That was in Con Man, and it was a real experience I had when I first started going to them. That you go to these things, and everybody's like, "You're a god," and you walk out and go, "I'm a god," and you call your agent and say, "What's going on?" And you go, "Nothing." No one cares.
How do you say hello to Hitler?
Beanie, how does Hitler say hello?
One of your first jobs ever was Patch Adams.
Yes.
How did you land that role?
I remember that being great. I got it because I did a play called Bunny Bunny. Everything goes back to this play, Bunny Bunny. It was the first thing I ever did in New York. I played 20-something roles in the play. It was like a quick change, run around to the other side of the stage. Now I'm this character, quick change, now I'm this character. And the casting director brought me in to meet Tom Shadyac, and she said he just played 20-something characters. I think I auditioned for the role, for some other big role in the thing. And he was kind of like, look, I don't think this is going to happen, but I'm going to find you a role. If you can play 20-something roles, I've got something for you. And he gave it to me, and I flew out to San Francisco. I was very comfortable on that set. I wasn't scared or timid. I think back to it, like, why was I that comfortable? I don't know. I was even covered in hives. I'd eaten some bad Chinese food. I had to go to the doctor on my first day of working. They had to take me. My throat was closing. My windpipe was closing. I couldn't breathe. I was in the makeup chair, and I was going, "What is it? Do you have someone that I could see?" And so they took me to a paramedic who gave me an adrenaline shot. So in the movie, I'm actually high on adrenaline, and it shows. It really helped my performance. But I had a blast. I got to play with Robin, like do voices and do characters back and forth. Michael Jeter was on that movie, and he was very nice. And we talked a lot. Like I was just so comfortable. It was weird.
It feels like if there's any guy you're going to want to do voices back and forth with, it would be Robin Williams.
It was a dream. It's really one of my best memories ever, because I was 26 years old, and I was with him and Jeter, and we were just doing like this round circle thing of just changing characters, keep doing characters, and I was aware in the moment of how special it was that I was doing characters to him that I probably learned from him and kept up. You know, it was fun. It was fun.
Was your role of Todd Peterson on the show Frasier as seminal in your
Oh, Todd Peterson. My God, I hear that name so often. Todd Peterson. That was his name.
Ah, Todd, come on in.
Hey, Frasier, I just need to know the name of the chick who made our couch.
Oh, right, it's a reproduction of the one Coco Chanel had in her Paris atelier. But why?
The writer from Architectural Digest wants to know.
That was a great job in that I just got back from Czech Republic doing Knight's Tale. I had super red hair, and they said, "Do you want to be on Frasier?" Yeah. So now I'm on Frasier with super red hair for one episode. It was fun.
Yeah.
Everybody was really nice. I thought it was neat how much fun they had backstage. Also, they were making funny. I don't know. Mm-hmm. John Mahoney, who I ended up doing a play with years later, we played lovers. Whatever, it's cool. We made out.
He's a great stage actor.
He
was a great stage actor,
yeah. We did Prelude to a Kiss
maybe
on Broadway. Yes, he was on Steppenwolf.
Do you prefer doing live audience stuff when you're talking about doing theater? Or
Yeah, there's a lot of
live
theater.
taping.
I do. I'm glad I don't have to choose.
Yeah.
One or the other, but I think stage is what I fell in love with. It's what got me into acting as a kid, and there's depending on the play, there's something very true about acting live and it not being manipulated in any way after the fact. It's just what it is on the night, and if you have the opportunity to do it 100 times, it keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper. Whereas film and TV, you do it and it's forgotten an hour later. You just It's like catching this quick moment. Oh, we got that. Oh, something happened. There was a spark for a second that made it for us. Or then it's such a different medium that in theater it's really the bones of acting. It's I don't know. It's the purest form.
You mentioned A Knight's Tale.
Yes.
You were in Romania for that?
Czech Republic.
Okay.
It was brilliant. It's a medieval town. We were doing a medieval movie. So we'd all play medieval during the day, and then you'd go out in the town, and we were kind of in a pack, go out to bars and
put your jeans on, go to the bar. Yeah.
I still wore medieval wear. That's just me.
Sure. Method.
Yeah. Rawhide underwear and mainly chainmail.
Sure.
But that was acceptable back then in the Czech Republic. I actually looked up, we were there only months after the Velvet Revolution. It was still a pretty raw country. It was still in flux. There was also, some pickpockets and some danger. Really, Mark Addy and I got attacked one night by these women. Holy moly. Truly, I had like 6, I don't know who they were, except they wanted my wallet. And they had their hands in all my pockets. And one was chasing Mark. And yeah.
Did they get your wallet?
They did not. I knew what they wanted, and I was just holding onto it with all my might.
What do you remember about making Tucker and Dale versus Evil?
3 weeks we shot that movie, and we needed at least another week. So we crammed an extra week in. And so we were doing 1 and 2 takes of everything you see in that movie is 1 or 2 takes, and moving on. We got to keep going.
Girl that we have, she can maybe explain the whole thing. You've got another one inside. Yeah, she's in my bedroom.
Tyler and I really enjoyed hanging out together, and Eli Craig, who directed it became a bonding experience. I just saw Eli last night. He and his wife came to see the play, Mysterious Circumstances at the Geffen. So we're all still, that isn't always the case. I've done movies where I haven't seen the director since we made the movie. It was one of those that we were slogging it. There were rainstorms there were lightning storms that just stopped production. There were these trees that kept falling in the woods that we were in that they called widowmakers. We had one crew going around trying to cut down widowmakers so that they wouldn't make widows of anyone. Or I don't know, what if it kills a woman? Is that a widower maker? I don't know. They need to fix that.
I think it's interesting, though, when you hear it's one or two takes, that speaks to your rapport, I guess. Do you know what I mean? That you guys were able to, had a good rapport, you're able to knock it out.
Somebody else was supposed to play my role. A lot of the jobs I've gotten have been like, uh-oh, we lost our guy. Who we got? Who's out there? And then there's that guy, and I'm that guy. Ready to go. And so I think I got cast 10 days before we started shooting. And I showed up and had just a few days, and Tyler and I were like, okay, hi, we're supposed to be best friends for life. And it was immediately easy. And I think probably that has nothing to do with me. It's just all Tyler Labine. He's a really easy guy to get along. He's like just a nice guy. But yeah, we really enjoyed working with one another.
What else have you done that's been really last minute?
Death at a Funeral. Mm-hmm. I showed up. They couldn't cast it. They were trying to cast it as an English person for a long time, and then I just sent in a tape. There wasn't even a casting director here. I was in New York, on vacation, and got a call from Frank Oz, who directed it. And
can you fly from New York to?
Yeah, it was a week of sort of haggling with will this work? Can this work? I think the producer wanted a big name actor. If we're going to go American, let's go to this person, that type of thing. But
What's Tom Hanks doing?
Yeah, and that's not the first time I've beat out Tom Hanks for a role. Happens a lot.
Won't be the last.
I'll get you, Hanks. I was this close on Apollo 13.
Were you uncredited in Deadpool 2? Am I remembering that correctly?
No, I was credited.
Okay.
I was credited in Deadpool 2. Matt Damon was uncredited.
Okay. Yes.
Which makes me wish that when I saw it that I had been uncredited also. I think I should have been credited as Tucker from Tucker and Dale, because he was very Tucker-like. But I didn't know when they're like, hey, do you want to do a scene with Matt Damon? First of all, Deadpool, it's immediate yes. And then they're like, and you're with Matt Damon. I'm like, no way. And I show up and this guy's like, hey, how's it going? And this scrudgy-looking dude comes in. But with Matt Damon's voice. Oh my God, are you Matt Damon? It's like, yeah. But what a cool movie to be part of. And also Morena Baccarin in that movie, so there's a Firefly connection there.
Exactly. You were also uncredited in Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Wasn't me. That was great. Timur Beckham, the director, is fantastic. My death in that movie. Okay, so you don't see me die in the movie now. When I first got the script, the way I die, I come in to say, hey, look, I was on board with this whole vampire thing, but now we're getting into a civil war, and I don't really want to do the Civil War. Not into the Civil War, so I'm going to step out. And Rufus Sewell, Knight's Tale, but many different things, but he was also a Knight's Tale. Says, oh, that won't be a problem. And then the original script, then it cuts to the town square and my head goes rolling into the town square. And
prosthetic head?
That we never crossed that bridge, I was hoping. And then I get there and Timur's like, Alan, we changed this change. Now he say, you say, I don't want to do this war. He say, it's no problem. And then he said, good, you kiss my ring to show you're filthy. You kiss the ring and you'll poison and die. I was like, oh, cool. Well, that's going to be fun. I get to die on screen. That'll be great. A couple days later, I see Timur's like, ice change. Now, what happened is you say, I know do this. he says, that's okay. He has fan, like a fan, because it's hot. And he stick the fan in your neck. And then a poor waterfall of blood here is peaceful, and here is blood red. It's like, okay, wow, I've never seen that before. That'll be cool. On the day, Alan is changed. So you say, I'm not do this. And he say, okay. And he have a newspaper. And he take the paper like that, crease the paper, and he stick it in your neck. And waterfall of blood and peaceful here. Yeah, are we going with that? Is that really what we're doing? And yes, we did. And there is footage somewhere of me with a newspaper sticking out of my neck and a waterfall of blood because the rig didn't work. So it was basically just filling my underwear and shoes with fake blood. Well, nothing really showed. So for some reason, that didn't end up in the movie.
You have done voices in two beloved cartoons, Adventure Time and Rick and Morty.
Oh, they're beloved.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you have, I mean, sort of how did those come to be? And, you know, how did those worlds collide? Do they collide at all? I don't know.
I was just asked to do them. Mm-hmm. And I said,
is that mainly what
I
you
said,
get?
I beloved those. I beloved the shit out of that show when I went. I think the one on Adventure Time, because I did King Candy on Wreck-It Ralph, that sort of, that's not really the voice. The characters kind of has a bit of a feel of King Candy in the Adventure Time. I love the show. It's fantastic. The art's amazing. And Rick and Morty, God, I'd love to do as many Rick and Mortys as there are. I love that show.
Would you rather talk about Dodgeball or iRobot?
I did iRobot and Dodgeball a day apart. I finished iRobot. I had one day off, and then I became a pirate. It felt like the perfect moment for that sort of encapsulates my career. I'm robots and pirates. I play, the first role I did that got like anything was that Bunny off-Broadway show that I did. And I played 20-something roles where I played Gilda Radner's friend who was so upset because he just got dumped. And then I was some guy who just lost his thumb in a lathe accident, but he makes his own furniture, and that's how I lost this eye. And there were all these different people. And that's kind of what my career has been. I'm still just playing. I'm just adding to those 20-something roles. They're all fairly specific there. Even in Mysterious Circumstances at the Geffen Playhouse, I play two characters. I play Richard Lancelyn Green, who's a real person, who was a real guy who died in 2004, was killed, and they never solved the murder, never solved it. And he was an aficionado of Conan Doyle, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, who wrote Sherlock Holmes. He's like a scholar, and that's what his life was about, was writing about that, and a collector of all things Sherlock Holmes. And I also play Sherlock Holmes because the play goes between 2004, sort of 3 months before his death up into his death, and then it goes back to the 19th century when Conan Doyle decides to stop writing Sherlock Holmes, and everybody's like, why are you stopping Sherlock Holmes? It like almost stopped England. Everybody was wearing black armbands. The Prince of Wales was pleading with him to bring him back to life. He just killed him because he was tired of writing Sherlock Holmes. And so I play Sherlock Holmes in the story, and Watson and I are trying to figure out where all the cases went. We're like, why? What happened? And so now they're on the case of the mysterious disappearance of Sherlock Holmes. And so there's real farcical comic elements to it. But then in the process, Sherlock Holmes comes upon the murder of Richard Lancelyn Green. Mm-hmm. So then the two things cross. So he's trying to solve the murder of the man who was the aficionado of him. It's really it's impressive what Michael Mitnick did on this play, the writer on this, and really pulls it off.
I was going to ask why you choose to do certain plays, and from your description of it, I'm like, I can see why you would do that.
Yeah, you don't get to do a lot of physical comedy in film, and you can. I've definitely been fortunate enough to do it, but there's some physical comedy stuff in this. It has a broad farcical element to it, but then also it's sad. This guy does die, and he has issues. He's looking for a man, but he can't find the right man. He doesn't know how to get that together because there's a big Sherlock Holmes nerd culture, huge. And if there's no bigger nerd than Richard Lancelyn Green. He was the king nerd, and I say that in the kindest way.
It's cool to be a nerd.
Yeah, it's respect. He was a scholar, and so you see there's this whole Sherlock Holmes nerd culture of these people who write these books and write all these that have all these ideas about who Sherlock Holmes was and why he was so brilliant. So it's great, and people just like how I did in Bunny Bunny. All the other actors play multiple roles.
Thank you for talking to us. Mysterious Circumstances
Yes.
at the Geffen Playhouse.
Yes,
and
in Los Angeles.
Through when?
Oh yeah,
21st.
we got through the 21st. We were extended.
Nice.
That's right, which is different from distended, which I've had, and I don't want to repeat it.